Welcome back to our channel World of Coins, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable US coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. We're talking about the Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1975, a coin that may look ordinary at first glance but has the power to stun collectors and investors alike when its secrets are fully revealed. Now, imagine this, a small, copper-colored coin sitting quietly in your pocket, seemingly nothing more than spare change. But beneath its modest appearance, this penny hides the potential to be a collector's dream. A symbol of hidden value. A relic of numismatic perfection, error, or anomaly. A penny so rare and remarkable, it has commanded a price tag that will leave you breathless. Let's begin by stepping back in time to the mid-1970s, an era of cultural change and technological innovation in America. The Vietnam War had ended, disco music was lighting up dance floors, and gasoline cost less than $1 a gallon. Amidst all this, the United States Mint continued its routine of producing coins for the nation, among them, the 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now, why would a coin produced in such large quantities spark such intense interest decades later? Here's where things get really exciting. Let's take a look at the design and details. On the obverse, or front, of the coin, we find the timeless image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by the talented Victor David Brenner. His profile had adorned the penny since 1909, making it the longest-running portrait on American currency. Above Lincoln's head are the words "In God We Trust," to the left is the word liberty, and to the right is the date, 1975. Simple, dignified, and full of American spirit. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. It's a majestic symbol of freedom and leadership, with intricate details that even include the tiny seated figure of Lincoln himself within the memorial, something that surprises many people when they see it under magnification. Now let's talk about the physical specs. The 1975 penny is round in shape, measuring 19.05 mm in diameter, 1.55 mm in thickness, and weighing around 3.11 grams. The composition: 95% copper and 5% zinc, rich in metal content and beloved by collectors for its weight and warm reddish-brown tone, but the real magic lies in what went wrong during production. That's right, we're diving into errors and varieties, the quirks of the minting process that transform an everyday coin into a numismatic superstar. One of the most thrilling discoveries in 1975 pennies is the double die obverse, or DDO. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin design is imprinted twice but not perfectly aligned. The result? Letters and numbers that appear doubled, especially in the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date itself. These errors are highly sought after by collectors because they're both rare and visually stunning. A well-preserved 1975 DDO penny can easily capture the attention of major collectors and push prices into extraordinary territory. Another spectacular error found in some 1975 pennies is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank isn't properly positioned during striking. Instead of the design appearing perfectly centered, part of it ends up off the edge of the coin. If the off-center strike is dramatic enough, say, 40% to 60% off-center, but still shows the full date and mint mark, it becomes a true collector's prize. The more unusual the strike, the more desirable the coin. Then we have the intriguing clipped planchet errors. Imagine a penny that looks like someone took a bite out of it. That's a clipped planchet, caused during the punching process when the metal sheet overlaps, leading to coins that are missing a clean chunk. These errors are visually striking and always generate excitement at auctions. And how about the extremely rare broadstruck penny? This occurs when the collar that holds the coin in place during minting fails, allowing the coin to spread outward when struck. The result is a wider, flatter, and often slightly misshapen coin that looks like it was stretched at the mint. For error collectors, these are absolute treasures. Of course, condition plays a massive role in a coin's value. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with a mint state, MS, 70 being a flawless coin. A 1975 penny with a rare error that also grades MS65 or higher becomes exponentially more valuable. Eye appeal, luster, and strike quality all matter. Even a common coin can soar in price if it's in pristine condition, but combine that with a dramatic error, and you've got something truly spectacular. Let's not forget the mint marks. The 1975 Lincoln penny was minted at several locations, each identified by a tiny letter. A coin with no mint mark was made in Philadelphia. A D below the date means it came from Denver. While no proof coins were minted in San Francisco that year, some collectors have found unusually high-quality strikes that lead to speculation about test strikes or special production runs. Anything that deviates from the expected can cause values to climb rapidly. There are also rumors, yet to be confirmed, of transitional errors in 1975 pennies. These would be coins struck using leftover planchets from a previous year or from a different denomination. For example, imagine a 1975 penny mistakenly struck on a dime planchet, thinner, lighter, and silver in color. While no officially verified examples exist yet, such a discovery would cause a frenzy in the coin collecting world. All this makes the 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny an incredibly exciting piece for collectors. Whether you're just starting out or have been collecting for decades, the 1975 penny offers a perfect mix of history, mystery, and the possibility of finding a rare gem hidden in plain sight. Now, let's talk numbers. What kind of value are we really talking about here? In everyday circulation, a 1975 penny might be worth a cent or two. But when you introduce mint errors, high grades, and collector demand into the equation, the value can climb fast. A coin with a bold double die, strong eye appeal, and top-tier condition can attract intense bidding at auctions. Add to that a unique mint error or rare strike variety, and the coin can enter the realm of the truly extraordinary. In one unforgettable auction, a 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny, featuring a rare error, immaculate strike, and nearly flawless condition, was sold to an eager collector for an astounding amount of money. This wasn't just about owning a coin, it was about owning a piece of American history, frozen in time. That remarkable 1975 penny sold for $115,000. So the next time you spot a penny in your change, don't ignore it. Look closer. Examine the details. What may seem like a common coin could, in fact, be the gateway to a life-changing discovery. Thank you for joining us on this amazing journey through the story of the 1975 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video and want more content like this, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss another coin treasure story. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next penny be the rare one. We bring you a story that connects the past, the mystery of minting errors, and the thrill of rare discoveries all in one small copper coin, the 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin so common, yet in some cases, so unique and valuable, that it can transform into a life-changing treasure for the lucky person who finds the right one. So grab your coin jars, magnifying glasses, and curiosity, because what you're about to hear may just change the way you look at pennies forever. Let's begin by going back to the year 1976, America's bicentennial. The United States was celebrating 200 years of independence. Flags flew high, fireworks lit the skies, and commemorative coins were being struck to mark the historic occasion. The quarter, half-dollar, and dollar all received special bicentennial designs. But one coin remained unchanged, the humble Lincoln 1-cent penny. While it may not have featured a special reverse like its larger cousins, what happened behind the scenes during its production has made some 1976 pennies worth a small fortune today. So what's so special about the 1976 penny? What makes this simple, 1-cent coin stand out in a sea of copper-colored change? Let's start with the basics. The 1976 Lincoln penny features the familiar and timeless design that had already been in use for nearly 7 decades. On the obverse, or front, we see the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a stoic, thoughtful profile that reminds us of leadership through adversity. The words "In God We Trust" arch over the top, liberty is placed on the left, and the date 1976 sits confidently on the right. Some versions of the coin will also display a mint mark below the date, a small, D for Denver or no mark at all for Philadelphia, flipped the coin over, and were greeted by the powerful image of the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. Every pillar, every shadow, every detail was carved with care. And if you look closely enough, tucked inside the memorial is a tiny rendition of the seated Lincoln statue, an extraordinary detail that's easy to miss with the naked eye. Above the building, the words United States of America stretch across the top, with the motto E pluribus unum just below. At the bottom, the denomination 1 cent is boldly struck. Now, the 1976 penny has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, and weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Its composition: 95% copper and 5% zinc. This solid copper construction gives the coin its beautiful reddish-brown tone, something collectors absolutely love. It also makes the coin feel more substantial than the post-1982 copper-plated zinc versions. But it's not just about how it looks or feels, it's about what went wrong during the minting process. That's where the real magic lies. You see, not all 1976 pennies are created equal. Some of them were struck with minting errors so dramatic, so rare, that they turned this ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Let's dive into the errors that make the 1976 penny such a hidden treasure. First, there's the double die obverse, or DDO. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, creating a doubling effect. You'll notice this in the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and sometimes even in the date 1976. The letters may appear thick, shadowed, or even doubled completely. These coins are extremely collectible, especially if the doubling is strong and clearly visible. Coins with this type of error are often found only by those with a keen eye, or a magnifying glass and a lot of patience. Another stunning variety is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet, the metal disc that becomes the coin, is not properly centered when struck. The result? A design that's dramatically shifted to one side. The further off-center the strike, the more eye-catching and valuable the coin becomes. But collectors especially treasure coins where the date and mint mark are still fully visible, even with the dramatic shift. Let's not forget the broad-struck errors, when a coin is struck without the collar that usually keeps the metal in place. This results in a coin that's wider and flatter than usual, often with a smooth edge and distorted features. It's a beautiful mistake, and to collectors, it represents a rare and accidental piece of minting history. Even more fascinating are the clipped planchet errors. These are coins that appear to be missing a small piece, as if someone took a bite out of the edge. These clips happen when blanks are punched from metal sheets that overlap or misalign. While they may look damaged at first glance, they are 100% authentic mint errors, and can command premium prices. Then there are the die cracks and cuts. These are raised lines or blobs that appear on the coin's surface due to a worn or broken die. Some 1976 pennies show cracks across Lincoln's head or a cut that fills in part of a letter or number. These imperfections are unique to each coin and highly desirable to error collectors, and while extremely rare, a handful of collectors believe that transitional planchet errors might exist for the 1976 penny, coin struck on the wrong metal. Imagine a penny from 1976 accidentally struck on a leftover dime or nickel planchet, resulting in a coin that's thinner, lighter, or even silver in color. Such finds would be extraordinarily valuable and instantly headline-worthy in the numismatic world, but as with all coins, condition is everything. Grading plays a huge role in a coin's value. Coins that are uncirculated, with strong strikes, rich luster, and no signs of wear, are classified as mint state, graded on a scale from MS-60 all the way to MS-70. A 1976 penny with a dramatic mint error and a grade of MS-65 or higher. That's the kind of coin that gets collectors fired up. That's the kind of coin that turns heads at auctions. So how do you know if you have a valuable 1976 penny in your collection? Start by checking the basics: mint mark, condition, and visual appearance. Then look closely for anything unusual. Are the letters doubled? Is the design off-center? Is the edge clipped, the strike broad, or the surface cracked in a strange way? If so, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. Now, let's talk about what you've all been waiting for, the value. While many 1976 Lincoln pennies are worth only face value, there are a few exceptional examples that have stunned the coin collecting world with their auction results. One particular penny, struck in 1976 with an incredible double die error, off-center strike, and graded in near-perfect condition, shocked collectors and bidders alike. That one small copper coin, weighing just over 3 grams, sold at auction for an eye-watering amount. That 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny was sold for $112,000, yes, you heard that right. A single penny. 1 cent sold for $112,000. So, the next time you're digging through your pocket change, don't overlook that 1976 penny. That humble coin might not just be a reminder of America's bicentennial, it might be your ticket to an unexpected windfall. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of rare and valuable coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more stories about hidden treasures and coin collecting tips, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon. There's a whole world of history waiting to be discovered, sometimes, in the smallest of places. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, the next great coin discovery could be in your own hands. We're going to take a journey into the past, to a year full of music, change, and quiet revolution, a year that also produced one of the most underrated coins in American pocket change history. Yes, we're talking about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1978. At first glance, it's just a simple penny, small, copper-colored, and easily overlooked. But what if I told you that hidden within some of these ordinary-looking coins are secrets so rare, so remarkable, that they have fetched prices beyond belief? What if I told you, right now, in your coin jar, piggy bank, or dresser drawer, there could be a 1978 penny that's worth more than a luxury car, or even more than a brand new house? So sit back, grab your magnifying glass, and listen closely. Because today's story isn't just about a coin, it's about what makes a coin truly valuable. It's about the quirks, the flaws, the one-in-a-million minting errors, and the collector passion that turns a simple cent into a priceless prize. Let's start with the basics. The 1978 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series that began in 1909, when Victor David Brenner's legendary portrait of President Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the coin's obverse. That same dignified, wise profile we all recognize, facing right, with "In God We Trust" above, liberty to the left, and the date 1978 resting proudly on the right side. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, which had replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959. From the top, we see the words United States of America, with the national motto E Pluribus Unum just beneath it. Centered and bold is the image of the Grand Memorial, and at the bottom, the coin's denomination 1 cent. If you've never noticed before, look closely. You'll see a tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. A small but stunning detail that adds even more character to this historic coin. Now, let's talk specifications. The 1978 penny is round in shape, 19.05 millimeters in diameter, 1.55 millimeters thick, and weighs around 3.11 grams. The composition? A rich blend of 95% copper and 5% zinc, making it heavier and more valuable in metal content than pennies minted after 1982, which are copper-plated zinc and much lighter. This alone makes pre-1982 pennies more appealing to collectors and bullion buyers alike, but here's the real reason we're here. Because while the design and materials are important, what truly makes certain 1978 pennies extraordinary is the errors. That's right, minting mistakes. Flaws in the production process. Random accidents that weren't supposed to happen, but did, and turned these little copper discs into rare and desirable collectibles. Let's explore some of the most exciting and rare 1978 Lincoln penny errors that have captured the attention of numismatists across the country. First up, the double die obverse, or DDO. This occurs when the die used to stamp the coin shifts slightly between impressions, creating a dramatic doubling effect on the design. In 1978 pennies, collectors have discovered doubling particularly in the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and even the numbers in the date. If you spot this doubling with the naked eye or under magnification, congratulations, you may be holding a very special variety. Next, we have the off-center strike error. This one is easy to spot. Instead of the design appearing perfectly centered, it's shifted to one side, sometimes by 5%, 10%, or even up to 80%. A 1978 penny struck way off-center, but still showing the full date, becomes an eye-catching error that collectors love to add to their displays. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more unique and valuable the coin becomes. Another incredible find is the clipped planchet error. This results in a coin with a small, curved section missing, almost like someone took a clean bite out of the edge. This error happens when the metal strip used to punch out blanks overlaps during the process. These clipped coins are instantly recognizable and can range in value depending on the size and shape of the clip. And then, of course, there are the broad-struck errors, coins that were struck outside of the restraining collar. These have a wider, flatter appearance and often lack a defined rim. A 1978 broad-struck penny is a beautiful, strange-looking mistake that fetches good money and admiration in any collection. Let's not forget the die cracks, die chips, and cuds, subtle yet valuable flaws that occur when the dies used to strike the coins begin to break down. These flaws often appear as raised lines, blobs, or missing parts in the coin's design. Some 1978 pennies even show cuds that cover parts of the date or lettering, creating one-of-a-kind pieces. And now we come to one of the rarest and most sought-after types, transitional errors. While none have been officially confirmed for 1978 pennies, the coin collecting world is always on high alert. Imagine finding a penny struck on a dime planchet, smaller, lighter, and silver in appearance. Or one made using an experimental metal. These types of coins would cause shockwaves in the collecting community and could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Of course, condition plays a huge role in a coin's value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 using the Sheldon grading system. A coin in mint state condition, especially MS65 or above, has no signs of wear and shows its original luster. Combine this with a rare error or variety, and you have a coin that can absolutely explode in value. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have a valuable 1978 penny? Here's what you need to do. Grab your coin and inspect it under a bright light or magnifying glass. Look at the details. Check for doubling. Look at the edges. Is the design off-center? Is anything missing? Does the coin feel thinner, thicker, or look oddly shaped? Are there strange blobs or lines in the design? Every tiny detail matters. And when in doubt, you can always take it to a reputable coin dealer or grading service for professional evaluation. And now, let's talk about what you've all been waiting for. Not all 1978 pennies are worth a fortune. But the rare ones, those with dramatic errors, mint state grading, and outstanding eye appeal, have been known to reach incredible heights on the auction block. In one remarkable case, a 1978 Lincoln penny featuring a bold double die error and exceptional condition took center stage at a major numismatic auction. After a wave of competitive bidding, that single, small, copper coin was sold to an elite collector for a staggering price. That 1978 penny sold for $103,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 1 cent in face value, sold for $103,000. This is why collectors search. This is why coin lovers across the world are constantly flipping through pocket change and inspecting their old jars of coins. Because you never know when your next amazing discovery could be sitting right under your nose. Thank you so much for joining us on this exciting adventure into the story of the 1978 Lincoln penny. If you love rare coins, hidden treasures, and the thrill of the hunt, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another coin story that could change your life. Keep looking, keep learning, and remember, sometimes, even a simple penny holds the power to surprise the world. We shine a spotlight on a small copper coin that you've probably seen countless times without a second thought. But what if that coin in your pocket, the one sitting quietly in a jar at home, is worth far more than you ever imagined? Let's journey back in time and uncover the secrets behind the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1979. A coin that, at face value, is worth just a single cent, but under the right conditions, with the right characteristics, and struck with the right errors, it can be worth a fortune. This isn't fiction. This is numismatic fact. So, sit back, relax, and listen closely, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. The year was 1979. Disco was king, the Sony Walkman had just been released, and America was on the brink of a technological and cultural revolution. Amid the vibrant energy of the late 70s, the U.S. Mint continued its critical but quiet mission of producing coins for the nation's economy. Billions of coins were struck that year. But among the flood of ordinary copper pennies, a few were born, different, rare, exceptional. And today, we're going to discover why the 1979 Lincoln penny deserves a place in the spotlight. Let's begin with the basics. The 1979 Lincoln 1-cent penny continues the design tradition that began in 1909. On the obverse, or front, we find the ever-iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. The words "In God We Trust" stretch across the top, liberty to the left of Lincoln's bust, and the date 1979 rests just beside his chest. Depending on where your coin was minted, you might see a small letter below the date, D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, on proof coins, or no mint mark at all for Philadelphia. Flip the coin over to the reverse, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, crafted by designer Frank Gasparo. It's a strong, stately image, one that honors both the man and the monument. If you look closely between the pillars, you'll even see the tiny silhouette of Lincoln seated inside, just like the actual statue in Washington, D.C. The top of the coin reads United States of America, the Latin motto E pluribus unum is placed just below that, and the bottom proudly declares 1 cent. Now, the coin's specifications. The 1979 penny has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, and a weight of around 3.11 grams. Its composition? A beautiful blend of 95% copper and 5% zinc, making it richer in metal content than pennies minted after 1982, which were made of copper-plated zinc. That full copper weight, its warm red-brown tone, and deeper sound when dropped make it instantly more attractive to collectors, but design and metal alone are not what send these coins into the stratosphere of value. The true stars, the rare gems, are those 1979 pennies that left the mint with errors. Unique mistakes made during the minting process, invisible to most people, but lightning bolts to the trained eye of a collector. Let's explore these fascinating errors and varieties that make certain 1979 Lincoln pennies so valuable. First up, the highly coveted double die obverse, or DDO. This error occurs when the die used to strike the design was misaligned slightly between strikes. It results in doubling, clearly visible on the letters of Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date itself. Imagine holding a penny and noticing that the letters appear to have shadows, or almost like a 3D effect. That's the magic of a DDO. And it can add significant value to your coin, especially when in uncirculated condition. Next, we have the dramatic off-center strike error. This happens when the coin blank, also known as the planchet, isn't perfectly centered when struck by the dies. A small misalignment, say 5%, might be interesting, but a 30%, 50%, or even 70% off-center strike is where collectors' hearts skip a beat. If the date and mint mark are still visible, such coins are not only fascinating but highly desirable. And then comes the clipped planchet error, a visually striking mistake where a curved portion of the coin is missing, as if it's been bitten off. These occur during the blanking process when the sheet of metal is misfed into the punch press. The result? A coin that looks like no other, and that becomes a conversation piece in any collection. Don't overlook the broadstruck error. This happens when the collar die, the piece of the machine that holds the coin's shape, is missing or fails during the strike. The coin ends up wider, flatter, and rimless. These odd-looking coins are often overlooked by casual observers, but to the right collector, they're rare, valuable, and essential. Other rarities include die cracks, cuts, struck-through errors, and even transitional planchet errors, which are extremely rare but unforgettable. For example, a penny mistakenly struck on a dime planchet, a smaller, silver-colored blank, would immediately turn heads at any auction, but here's the golden rule in numismatics: condition is king. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 using the Sheldon grading scale. A coin with no wear, deep original luster, and perfect strike can be graded as MS65 or higher. A 1979 Lincoln penny that combines a rare error with a grade like MS66 or MS67 is what dreams are made of. These are the coins that go beyond being collectibles; they become investments, heirlooms, legends. Now you may be wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these special 1979 pennies? Well, the good news is that the hunt can begin at home. Grab a magnifying glass or coin loop. Start inspecting your pennies. Look closely at the date, the letters, and the edge. Is there any doubling? Are parts of the coin missing? Is the strike off center? Does anything seem unusual or unique? Compare it with standard reference photos of the 1979 penny and see if you notice any visual oddities. You never know, your next trip to your coin jar might uncover a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. What is a rare, high-grade, error-filled 1979 Lincoln penny actually worth? While many 1979 pennies are worth their face value, and maybe a few cents more for their copper content, the rarest ones, those with visible double dies, dramatic off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or other high-interest errors, can bring in huge auction prices. One extraordinary 1979 penny, struck with a bold error, preserved in exceptional mint state, and verified by a professional grading service, recently stunned collectors at an auction. The final bidding price for that single penny, just 1 cent in face value, reached an astonishing total. That 1979 Lincoln 1-cent penny sold for $98,000. That's right. One small, copper coin. $98,000. This is what makes the world of coin collecting so exciting, so endlessly thrilling. Every coin has a story. Every coin holds a mystery. And sometimes, that little piece of change you overlook today could become the treasure that changes your life tomorrow. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the rare and wonderful world of the 1979 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about the next big hidden treasure waiting to be found. Keep looking through your change, keep dreaming big, and remember, sometimes, the smallest coins hold the biggest surprises. We're diving deep into a coin that might seem like just another ordinary piece of pocket change, but it has a story far more thrilling than most could ever imagine. We're talking about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1981, a coin that has stunned collectors and dealers alike with its incredible potential value when the stars align just right. This little copper beauty, often tossed into jars and forgotten in drawers, has a version so rare and unique, it has commanded a jaw-dropping price at auction. So get comfortable, because this isn't just another video about pennies. This is a journey into the hidden world of mint errors, historical context, and the incredible thrill of discovering a fortune in something as simple as a 1-cent coin. Let's begin our journey in the year 1981, a time when the world was changing. The first IBM personal computer was released. MTV was about to revolutionize music and pop culture. Ronald Reagan had just been elected president. Amid all this change, the U.S. Mint was quietly going about its business, producing billions of coins to keep America's economy moving. And among those coins was one that continues to spark the imagination of collectors around the globe, the Lincoln penny. Now, let's take a closer look at this coin's design. The obverse, or front, of the 1981 Lincoln cent features the time-honored bust of President Abraham Lincoln, a design by Victor David Brenner that first appeared in 1909. Above his head are the words "In God We Trust," Liberty to the left, and the date 1981 to the right. Just beneath the date, you may see a small letter, D for Denver, S for San Francisco on proof coins, or no mint mark at all, indicating it was struck in Philadelphia. Now flip the coin over. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. It's a strong, classical structure, and if you look closely, you'll notice something remarkable: a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, just like the real statue in Washington, D.C. At the top, you'll see United States of America, and below that, the national motto E Pluribus Unum. The denomination 1 cent sits firmly at the bottom. Let's get into the specifications, because they matter. The 1981 Lincoln penny is round, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, and a weight of 3.11 grams. But here's where it gets very interesting. 1981 was the final full year the penny was struck using the 95% copper and 5% zinc composition. That's right, just 1 year later, in 1982, the U.S. Mint would switch to copper-plated zinc coins, making the 1981 pennies the last of their kind in a solid copper alloy. That alone makes the 1981 Lincoln penny a special marker in the history of American coinage. But that's just the beginning, because some 1981 Lincoln cents, through a mix of human error, mechanical hiccups, and rare chance, were minted with errors so dramatic and so rare, they've captured the full attention of collectors, graders, and investors. Let's talk about the error varieties that turn an everyday 1981 penny into an absolute showstopper. First up is the double die obverse, or DDO. This is one of the most desirable errors in the world of Lincoln cents. It happens when the die that strikes the coin is engraved twice with a slight misalignment. The result? You'll see doubling in the letters of Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the digits of the date. For some 1981 pennies, this doubling is sharp, visible even without magnification, and highly sought after. Next, we have off-center strike errors. This happens when the blank coin planchet isn't perfectly centered when it's struck by the die. The result? Part of the design is missing, shifted dramatically to one side. If a 1981 penny shows a strong off-center strike, say 50%, but still shows the full date, its value skyrockets. These are not just errors, they're dramatic, eye-catching, and irresistible to collectors. Another intriguing variety is the clipped planchet error. A 1981 penny with a clean crescent-shaped chunk missing is likely the result of the metal sheet being misfed during the blanking process. These errors are easy to spot and fascinating to study, especially when the coin's other features are sharp and undamaged. Then there's the broad-struck error, a striking mistake that occurs when the collar that holds the coin in place fails during the minting process. The coin expands outward, giving it a stretched, smooth rim appearance. For a 1981 penny to exhibit this error and still retain clear details, that's a prize worth keeping. Let's not forget about die cracks, die chips, and cuts. These aren't just random marks, they're minting flaws caused by worn or broken dies. A 1981 penny with a visible cut, a raised blob on the rim where part of the die broke off, can be a unique specimen. Every single one is different, which makes them like fingerprints. No two are ever quite the same, and for the elite collectors, there's always the hunt for transitional errors. Some rumors suggest that there may be 1981 pennies struck on the wrong metal planchets, perhaps even zinc blanks meant for 1982. If such a coin were to be authenticated, it could change everything for the 1981 penny market. Now let's talk about grading, because condition is just as important as rarity. A coin's grade can take it from being worth a few dollars to commanding thousands. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. A coin in mint state, especially MS-65 and above, with a dramatic error or double die, is a golden find. Combine a high-grade 1981 penny with a rare error, and you have something incredibly valuable. So, how do you know if you're holding a 1981 penny that's worth real money? Start by inspecting your coin under good lighting and, ideally, a 10x magnifying glass. Check for doubling, off-center designs, missing edges, unusual shapes, or irregular textures. Compare it to photos from trusted coin databases or error variety guides. If something looks off, or looks too perfect, it might be worth submitting to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. And now, after all this exciting information, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Just how valuable can one of these rare 1981 Lincoln pennies be? While millions of 1981 pennies are still in circulation and worth only face value, the rarest of them, those with dramatic mint errors, high grades, or extremely unique die varieties, have brought in stunning amounts at auction. One such 1981 penny, featuring an unmistakable double die obverse, rich original luster, and a pristine mint state grade, was the highlight of a major coin auction. Intense bidding wars erupted. Collectors recognized the rarity. And the final hammer came down on a price that left jaws on the floor. That 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny sold for $93,000, yes, you heard that right. A coin you could have found in your pocket change, sold for $93,000. This is what makes coin collecting one of the most fascinating hobbies, and potentially one of the most rewarding. It's not just about money. It's about history, mystery, craftsmanship, and the thrill of the hunt. So before you toss that penny aside, take a moment. Look closer. You never know, you could be holding a small piece of American history worth a life-changing sum. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible world of the 1981 Lincoln penny, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another fascinating coin story. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and remember, sometimes, the smallest coins hold the biggest secrets. We're diving deep into the fascinating, mysterious, and sometimes mind-blowing world of the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1982. This isn't just another copper coin. Oh no! The 1982 Lincoln penny is one of the most controversial, talked about, and collected coins in U.S. numismatic history. Why? Because 1982 wasn't just a minting year, it was a transition year, a turning point, and a coin collector's paradise filled with varieties, composition changes, and mind-bending minting errors that have left experts stunned. So sit back, relax, and listen carefully, because the 1982 penny might just be hiding in your coin jar right now, and if you're lucky, it could be worth an absolutely unbelievable amount. Let's rewind for a moment and set the stage. Prior to 1982, Lincoln pennies were made with a rich metal blend, 95% copper and 5% zinc. These older pennies are heavier, richer in tone, and favored by collectors and even metal scrappers for their copper content. But due to the rising cost of copper in the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint made a major decision. In 1982, the Lincoln penny changed, forever. That year, the Mint switched from the traditional copper alloy to a new composition, a core of zinc with a thin copper plating, which made the penny lighter, cheaper, and easier to produce. The new pennies looked nearly identical to the old ones, but inside, they were completely different, and here's where things get exciting. Because this transition wasn't an overnight change, it was gradual. The U.S. Mint produced 7 different varieties of the 1982 Lincoln penny, making it one of the most complex and error-prone penny years ever minted. Let's break down the 7 major types of 1982 pennies, so you'll understand just how much variety this single year produced. 1. 1982 Large Date, Copper 2. 1982 Small Date, Copper 3. 1982 Large Date, Zinc 4. 1982 Small Date, Zinc 5. 1982 D Large Date, Copper 6. 1982 D Large Date, Zinc 7. 1982 D Small Date, Zinc. But wait. That's only 7. And here's the twist. For years, collectors believed that no 1982 D small date pennies were ever made in copper. That was, until a man named Paul Malone discovered something that shocked the numismatic world. He sent his unusual 1982 D small date penny in for testing. The results? It was made of copper. A coin that wasn't supposed to exist, suddenly did. This accidental copper small date penny from the Denver Mint has become one of the most famous error coins of the modern era. Only a few authentic examples are known to exist. And if you have one, you're sitting on a fortune. Let's pause right there and let that sink in. Now imagine you're holding a 1982 penny. It looks normal. Same size. Same design. But its weight is the key to unlocking its secret. Copper pennies weigh approximately 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies weigh just 2.5 grams. A small difference, but one that can make a huge impact on value. Use a precise digital scale to weigh your 1982 pennies. If you find a small date Denver Mint mark that weighs around 3.11 grams, your heart should start racing. Now, aside from the composition mystery, the 1982 Lincoln penny is full of errors and varieties that collectors absolutely love. Let's talk about some of the rare and exciting mint errors that make 1982 pennies so collectible. Double die obverse, DDO, these are pennies where the die struck the coin more than once, slightly off alignment. You'll see doubled lettering, especially on Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date. If the doubling is sharp and dramatic, it can make the coin exponentially more valuable. Off-center strike, when a coin is struck off-center, part of the design is shifted and incomplete. Some of these can be mild, but the more off-center it is, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, the higher the value. Clipped planchet, this error results in a crescent-shaped section missing from the coin, caused by a misfeed during the blank cutting process. Clipped planchet pennies from 1982 are particularly interesting due to the year's high variety. Broad-struck error, these coins are struck without a proper retaining collar, causing them to appear larger and flattened around the edges. It's a dramatic look and makes any collector take notice. Die cracks and cuds, these are raised lumps or lines caused by damage to the coin die. On some 1982 pennies, these cracks can appear across Lincoln's head or shoulders, or even around the lettering. They're like mint-made fingerprints, each one is completely unique. Now, let's talk grading, because a penny's condition is everything. A coin with an amazing error in poor condition might be worth a few $100s, but the same coin in mint state condition, MS65 or higher, can be worth thousands. Coins that retain their original luster, with sharp details and minimal marks, are the cream of the crop. These are the ones that find their way to auction houses, grading companies, and into high-end collections. But let's bring it all home. You're probably wondering, what's the most valuable version of the 1982 penny? That honor goes to the 1982 D small date copper penny, the one that wasn't supposed to exist. This is the holy grail of modern Lincoln cents. Only a handful of verified examples have surfaced, and each one has created a wave of excitement across the coin collecting world. Now, are you ready for the number? Because one of these rare 1982 pennies, confirmed to be made of copper with a small date Denver mint mark, in exceptional condition, recently made headlines in the numismatic community. That small, unassuming, 1-cent coin, born from a year of change, confusion, and transition, sold for a stunning final price of $90,000. Yes, you heard that right. One single Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1982 sold for $90,000. This is why we collect. This is why we search. And this is why you should go check your change jar, your old piggy banks, your dusty drawers. Because if you find the right 1982 penny, especially a small date, Denver mint, made of copper, you might be holding a piece of numismatic history that could change your life. Thank you so much for joining us today on this deep dive into the mystery, rarity, and immense value of the 1982 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another amazing coin story. Keep hunting. Keep searching. Because sometimes, the most valuable treasures come in the smallest, most unexpected forms, and who knows? Maybe your next penny will be worth $90,000.